Welcome to the 9th episode of the Art DINER podcast. Let's grab a coffee and chat about the recent happenings in the art industry. Today is a really exciting episode as we are again joined by Rita, or more well known on the internet as Dark Taro. Hey, how are you?
Whoa, actually fine. How are you, Yvetto?
I'm good as well. Yeah. I am really excited for this episode since we have so much cool topics to tackle, including a really exciting future for color mixing in digital painting programs, some drama regarding our beloved Bobby Chiu, and also a chat about artists quitting the animation industry. Now, I know you have some topics as well, so I'm really excited to hear about them and discuss. But first, I wanted to quickly say thank you so much, guys. The winter season for the mentorship programs have been fully booked out. Such exciting news. I'm really happy to be giving some nuggets of knowledge to those who registered. Thank you so much for this, guys. And if you did not make it in time, don't be sad. We're open to registrations for the spring 2024 season. But you saw how fast the spots are gone, so be sure to reserve your spot early. To do that, just go to ivetto.net/learn and fill the registration form. Link will be in the description as always. So coming in firstly with some news from the tech side of digital art, I recently spotted a really cool new thing on the internet called Mixbox or Mixing Library. Essentially, what this tool does is create realistic mixing of colors. If you go now to your Photoshop or Procreate or whatever tool you use and try mixing blue and yellow and write in the comments right now, what color did you get? And well, according to real life, you should have gotten a nice saturated green. So that's why this tool seems so exciting to me. Even the way a color behaves when spread on white canvas, in real life, we can see the paint becomes more saturated, while in our digital painting programs, it becomes desaturated. So I hope soon we can use it in our favorite programs like Photoshop. I love Photoshop because now they're not accurate for mixing colors at all unless you try to use some type of layer mode. And Mixbox is currently already part of the Rebelle 5 painting software, which I have not tried yet, but if anyone wants me to review it, I would gladly do so. And it's also part of the Flip Fluids add-on for Blender. You can try it out by going to a link that I will put in the description below, and we can move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about. So, the drama, the Bobby Chiu, you love him, you hate him, but I feel like everyone knows him. Do you know him, Rita?
Well, I have to say yes. It's hard not to.
Yeah. Well, if you're not familiar with the name, he's a YouTuber, creator of Schoolism, Lightbox Expo, and so on. Basically, a really prominent figure in the present day of digital art. He has been active on his YouTube channel for 16 years. It's crazy numbers. Interviewing many cool artists. And I've been listening to those interviews for years now. Have you?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I've been listening to him like on a regular basis, but I've seen quite a few interviews. I follow him on Instagram because he's kind of in the news all the time. He's kind of trying out new things all the time or talking about mentorships and stuff. And a very prolific guy, basically. Yeah.
And so, to everyone's big surprise, he uploaded a video simply titled "Bye." And
as they do.
Yeah.
As they do.
Yeah, we've seen this many times, haven't we? In the video, he goes on about...
has he done an apology video?
I don't think so. I don't think he has ever done something to be cancelled about. I'm not sure. I haven't been following, but I think it's a rare thing in our industry to have these, right?
Closing your YouTube career without an apology video, without getting into some drama and scandal. Lame.
In the video, actually, he goes on about saying that he will not delete his channel, but rather go upload on another ones that he has. Because currently he has one for Schoolism, the teaching website, and another one that he recently created where he basically does this like news in art or podcast, stuff like that. And what I found really interesting was the reason why he was moving. Because apparently back in the day, he had made a small but crucial mistake regarding video ads, which in turn got his channel permanently demonetized.
I knew it.
Yeah, and it has been for many years like that. Bobby noted that he tried over the years a few times to get it back on track, but sadly to no avail. And so he is now moving to different channels. I'd never heard anyone had this happen to them.
So wait, did he say what was the issue? Like, did he forgot to turn on some toggle or
No,
something?
I don't know if we're supposed to even say it. I don't know how YouTube picks this up, whether it's through reporting or if it's through
Okay.
actual just like, robots listening to us. But it is
Okay.
against YouTube rules to ask your viewers to click on certain links to certain videos
Oh.
that are shown on his videos. Basically,
Okay,
that
very
I found
interesting.
out through him. I haven't even like to me it never even popped in my head that this could be a thing that you would ask your viewers, but at the same time like
Yeah.
it makes sense. But I
Yeah.
didn't know that this was against YouTube rules. So I guess
So wait,
yeah.
as a sum up, basically Bobby Chiu uploads a video that is against YouTube guidelines,
Mhm.
basically, and he's permanently demonetized,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And this was
Oh.
years ago. So despite the demonetization, I think it's inspiring how much work he still put into his channel. And obviously, it's sad that he couldn't get anything from it, like money wise.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
crazy.
crazy. He went on for years of uploading and doing those interviews and all of that. I guess basically working for exposure.
Yeah, but it's crazy that YouTube didn't allow him to fix his mistake, basically.
Yeah, I think it's just like one time thing, and YouTube is really strict about it. And I think, in a sense, he's lucky that they did not delete his channel. If it's something against YouTube regulations, I would assume they might even, like, delete the channel. But it went
Hmm.
into fully demonetized mode. So,
Yeah, allegedly, I've heard about YouTube that in order to get your channel back or to
mhm.
complain, you gotta do a public complaint, basically on Twitter or
Oh, like
something,
that.
because it's
Yeah.
very difficult to get to
Mm.
YouTube staff,
I
allegedly.
mean, it's like something that I don't know if it would even work because it's not that YouTube made a mistake in demonetizing him. It's more so
Yeah.
that, like, asking like the public, do we allow this person to not follow the rules because he learned from this mistake? It's like if we do this with one person, then we have to do it with everyone. So I don't know how like morally acceptable this would be.
Yeah, but like if he decided to edit or delete the video that was you know against the
Mhm.
guidelines, and then future videos don't go against the rules.
Yeah.
I think like with copyrighted content, this happens all the time. Like YouTube algorithm
Hmm.
allegedly finds copyrighted content and then you get striked, and you have a choice to either remove the copyrighted material or they don't show the video altogether or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, basically, so it's very strange. YouTube allegedly is very strange.
YouTube allegedly says change. True.
I've learned to say allegedly a lot when I
Yeah.
talk about different topics
You're, you're trying not to get cancelled.
or sued.
I also find it a bit funny, though, that majority of the comments are saying like, no, please don't delete the channel. when Bobby, like in his video, said that he is not planning on deleting anything, he's leaving everything up there. And he even had to write in the comments, like saying that he is not deleting everything, trust me. And yet, still, most of the comments are asking him not to remove anything. So I don't know how much people are actually watching the video or not.
I think generally also there's this mass exhaustion and just annoyance with these social media platforms these days when it comes to what you're allowed to say or publish and the monetization part of
Mhm.
it. So I think more and more creators are trying to rely, well, they've always tried to rely on their own websites, and to sort of get all the traffic into their sites,
Mhm.
basically. Because you never know. With these social media sites, you never know what the future of YouTube is going to be. You never know how your content, can go against the guidelines sometimes because the guidelines change a lot
Yeah.
all the time, especially when it comes to censorship. It just makes sense to make this sort of leap. And I'm sure he'll probably maybe upload snippets of videos to
I
promote.
think the plan for now is him just uploading the same what he used to do, but spread to two different channels. So one is like his personal, and the other one is kind of like his school's project channel.
Oh, I see. So basically he is promoting his two new YouTube
Yeah,
channels.
well, I think the whole video was about saying that I will not upload here. I am moving, and the reason being because all these years I have been
Okay.
demonetized. Actually,
Okay, so it's like he's not moving basically to his own website. He's
no, 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 no.
moving to different YouTube channels. Oh,
His own
okay.
website is the schoolism.com. So it's not actually
Yeah.
like a video platform. And he also has like a studio website, but I don't know if that's active at the moment with all the things he's
Hmm.
actually doing. Because it used to be him and I don't know if it's his wife or not.
Allegedly
Yeah,
wife.
allegedly. We can use it all the time. So on that one, I don't know if he's still active, but like probably not gonna upload videos either. Yeah, actually, another artist video about quitting came up on my feed at the same time. Mewtripled. I don't know if you know about her. She's a
No.
storyboard artist, and she has also made a video talking about how she does not see worth in being in the animation industry at the moment. She spoke on recent strikes and how her opinion looking for work in animation now would cost her so much effort and time that she would just rather put it into her YouTube channel and Instagram where she makes short comics. And I've been like watching her for quite a while now, and it does seem like in her place, I understand this decision. I would do the same probably, because whenever she talks about the animation industry, it seems like it's such a stressful place to get jobs. It's so competitive, and you would probably spend months looking for a job every day, filling those application forms for work. So in my mind, this makes sense.
I mean, the whole industry in general is absolutely stacked against the
In
artists.
animation, you mean, or like in general, like yeah.
Everywhere. All arts, movies, games,
Mm-hmm.
animation. I mean, most of these people, we're just work for hire people. You do your job, you draw your things, but you don't get the right, like, you don't get any residuals. It doesn't matter if the film is gonna raise like millions of dollars. You're not getting any of that. In general, it's just very annoying. They say that it's because it's impossible to pay this way the whole team that is behind these giant projects
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But what this creates is the fact that there's like this small percentage of people, directors or whatever, creators, directors, producers, who get these massive payouts, whereas the staff, I guess they get
I
bonuses.
guess so. I'm not sure. I've never interacted with anyone who's making movies in California, but I know how hard it is to get into the industry in general, like find a job. Because people who I've interacted with, all of them were animation students looking for internships or animation graduates looking for work. And so many of them like fully just did not find work. or like spent months and then had to like actually not work on animation, but rather go into another type of industry like illustration making, like something similar, but not actually what you have been studying for. So I know from them how hard it is actually to find something. Another point that Mewtripled made is that there might be an influx of her sharing sponsorships and asking the viewers for understanding that she needs to live on the money in order to create, which also got me wondering, do people actually think that, oh no, this creator has taken some sponsors to pay the bills? Is that like something that her fans would condemn her for, I wonder?
I don't think so. Like at this point, I feel like it's already commonplace to know that your favorite creator has sponsors. It's everywhere around YouTube. I've seen people look at it as a celebration. YouTubers be like, yay, look, we have our first sponsor, congratulations and stuff. I think the critical part of it for people is to look at the sponsors they actually work with. Because some of these sponsors look good on paper, but then it's like they're kind of sketchy. So I think the fans won't mind. Obviously, if, the ads become super intrusive, it's gonna be, or like break the flow of the content, then it's
But
not
I
great.
just always think like her fans or like her community is probably of artists like us who, everyone kind of already knows the idea of like, you shouldn't work just for exposure because we have to pay our bills.
Yeah.
Because whatever we usually earn is not something that's like excessive amount of money. So it's usually something that we actually have to pay our bills with. We're not like Mr. Beast here getting like millions of dollars and then just reinvesting that into the next video. We just literally have to pay the bills with that money.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, so I feel like just, with all of those fans being artists, they kind of would understand this, even if she had like sponsors which were not necessarily very targeted to her audience, or maybe there will be so many of them, like you said, that ruins the flow of the video. But I always think about it like, okay, like go get the bag. Okay, just I'll skip the part where it's the sponsor if I don't feel like watching it, and if I don't feel like the ad is helpful to me, I don't want to know about this, I'll just skip it. It's like, what's the big deal?
I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. I wonder if all the other fans would think of it like that. Because the fact that she had made a part of her video asking her fans for understanding, I feel like maybe she had gotten like some comments before about this. I don't know.
I think maybe since she never had sponsors and suddenly there's this life change that happens, so like viewers are used to one thing and then it's like, hey, this is the reality. Even making these videos will not be enough, even with like the regular YouTube ad revenue, allegedly. It's not enough.
No, it's not.
No, people take sponsors for a reason. That's what I want to say. People take sponsors for a reason. It's not, again, and all these YouTubers, they're not, I know some of them are Mr. Beast millionaires. However, most of them are not.
Yeah.
Most of them are not. They just want to make an honest living from doing the things that they love. So I think people should be like respectful and understanding. With artists especially, it's like sometimes you draw for yourself and then you have to draw some weird thing for an ad or whatever commercial mega corp or something that actually pays your bills.
Yeah, I think the comments are inspiring from her fans as well. I like briefly looked through the comment section and I found one wrote that they have a degree in animation but never ended up getting a job in the industry. They apparently ended up creating their own business accidentally, they wrote, and is running it full time with her husband for like 7 years now. I thought that was really like inspiring that maybe this go to school, graduate, find a job in the industry. Maybe it's not supposed to be for like everyone's path in life, now that everything's kind of more freeing, I think, to the artists. Like you can support yourself by Patreon, you can support yourself by having a merchandise store, you can support yourself by doing, very niche things like I don't know, commissions of dog leashes or something like that. I know a person who does that, and I don't know if it like pays the bills, but it could if you're going for it full time. So maybe these times it's a bit easier to do actually what you like to do rather than going that, route where everyone is going.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's, yeah, on the one hand, we live in a world where you can advertise to people all over the world.
Mhm.
However, there is this oversaturation of this market. There are a lot of people who try to do their own thing. And I think it all comes down to, can you actually do it? And some people are super happy working. Well, I'm not saying super happy. Maybe I'll just say they're content
Yeah.
in working in the animation industry. Because I've seen, maybe someday we'll talk about like productions of Studio Ghibli, for example,
Mhm.
and how crazy these
Yeah, I
are.
would love to talk about that.
Some people are just parts of teams. They love to be a part of a team. They love to be part of this whole, I don't want to say it factory, but I'll say it, this whole animation factory. And I met people like that
What a
who
way
are
to
just,
put it.
yeah, it's like some people just really want to make their own thing. They want to be the director,
Yeah.
basically. They want to be the boss of the story and the artwork and everything. And other people are like, no, I don't want to create my own ideas. I just like to draw.
They want that steady paycheck, have
Yeah.
time with their family and friends. Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean that now people who make their own businesses don't have.
No, I'm saying like it's a bit more simpler. Is that a word? I don't know. But to have something that is like monthly, you get a paycheck, you get your health insurance. At least here in Europe, you're all like set to just after work do whatever you kind of want to. While when you're trying to make your own business, you're probably going to have to invest that free time into your business building. And you're probably, at least at the very start, you're probably not going to have that much free time. You're probably going to sacrifice a lot of things because you kind of need to have that monthly paycheck as well. You have to pay your bills like everyone else. But it's going to be way harder to, at the start, actually spend that off time with the family for the weekend. You're probably going to be working long hours even on the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant.
I guess there's a lot of unknowns when you start out. When you go to your studio, it's basically, yeah, that you're going to pay this and that. You more or less know your workload, more allegedly.
Your favorite word.
Because from time to the more I listen to these production stories, the more I understand that people sign up for X, but they have to do like twice as much. Yeah, stability versus like more of unknown, but hopefully that is more rewarding in the future.
Keeping in mind how tough it can be in such competitive, stressful industry where even if you get work, it's probably not the best paid work out there for the artists. I guess you really start thinking, is it worth it? Or maybe like Mewtripled said, just for the initial experience. And after that, you can like skedaddle to making something of your own.
Yeah, because in the industry, you get to connect. I think after that grueling work, one of the most important things you get are the people you meet. The experience you get, the people you meet. Yeah. To sort of segue to my topics, it's like,
oh, I'm so excited for this.
we're talking about people who put a lot of hard work into their craft. You're talking about Bobby Chiu, who's like an industry veteran at this point when it comes to education. New Triple and her move after her hard work of building her community. And you as well, Ivetto, you have your own mentorship program and
Stop
you
it.
have experience of teaching people. So there is a person who is trying to do the same thing. And do you remember back in the day when people used to sort of mock digital art in a way that it's very easy?
Yeah, I've been to Vilnius Academy of Arts. I know about that, where like the professors would not accept it because it's considered that, you press a button and the program does the art for you. Which now is the case with AI, but not back then.
It's very ironic, yeah. So Basically, it's either that or like some artists would like to do little tongue-in-cheek parodies of that, of like they would show their line art and then they take a brush and suddenly like as the brush moves, it reveals a beautiful rendered artwork where in reality you just use an eraser tool basically to unveil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
people used to do it as a joke, basically, to parody this sort of digital art is just a basically rendering is just a filter. You know, you go to Photoshop. I saw one artist did that. She sort of made this little button in Photoshop that you have a line art, goes to Photoshop filters, and then there's like her style filter, and suddenly the drawing is beautifully rendered. So one artist decided to take it to the next level and make money out of it. So enter Ylanast, depending on which country you are from and how you read. Their beautiful Instagram channel is a whopping over 675,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge
This
channel.
reminds me of the Sekanada art that I was talking about another episode.
You have an artist, so they're drawing in this super realistic style, if you can picture it. You know, your typical Instagram, beautifully rendered art style.
Yes.
So what people started to notice, and they're uploading their tutorials. So they're speed painting, and it's nicely edited. And they also happen to sell brushes, and they have a drawing course. Wow. And they're followed by some big creators that I know, like Lil Thunder, for example. I don't know if you know them.
No.
Anyways, so you have this huge account, and obviously you want to learn how to draw like them because, like, wow, if you're into hyperrealism, go get it. However, people start to notice there's something strange about their art progress. For example, do you have a brush, Ivetto, that can, with one stroke, that can color in different shades at the same time? What a magical brush! Have you heard of drawing eyes, where when you start drawing eyes, you start with drawing just giant black ovals instead of eyes? Yeah, I know there's a technique. People can say that you can start either from light to dark or dark to light, but in general, even if you take the darkest shadow of the eye, it's like a very small percentage, you know? So drawing it like that doesn't make any sense at all. People started to pick her videos apart. And what people started discovering that what they do is a thing that artists did back in the day to mock digital painting or criticism of digital painting. Basically, they take filtered photographs of people, like, you know, the phone filters that makes your picture look kind of painted like. So this is not even AI we're talking about. We're talking about filters on your phone for your photos. They take that, they draw on top of it, of like layer of paint on top of it, and then a layer of line work, like very rough line work or whatever. So as they do their video, it's like you see the line work first, and then you see them drawing these crude shapes of paint, and then suddenly in these shapes of paint, their majestic paintbrush, just rough paintbrush, just creates all these details bit by bit, you know. So they're basically erasing all these layers that are drawn on top. It's edited in a way that at first it looks like, wow, they're just they're very skilled. Like, wow, it's there are a lot of edits in these videos, a lot of clever edits, basically.
Yeah, I wonder with the erasing part, I would say, like, does it even matter? Because all of these things are meant for entertainment. I guess the part of them manipulating the photo is a problem. I think I have seen like the red-haired girl that they have in their Instagram. I think I've seen it as an AI post. So I am wondering whether or not this is actually not related to any generated work.
I mean, I'm sure that they can use AI generated images the same way. But as you say that it's entertainment, let me read you their Instagram profile description. I will teach you how to draw beautifully and easily from scratch. Tell me, Veta, what part of it is not a scam?
Yeah. Obviously, this is like very shady in my from my point of view. Yeah.
Super shady. Do you know they have a website? They have a website, Ivetto. When you click on it, they have a course.
I just wonder, like, how they even teach people. Maybe they actually can draw these portraits themselves. and then
No.
like they just like use other things to like make it quicker. But I
No.
wonder, have you ever seen something that they drew themselves without like these photo manipulation?
But that's the thing. It's what you see, all the processes are basically scam
Yeah.
after you see the proof. And then you go on their website, for example, and learn how to draw like them. And I'm looking at it right now, and there's a picture,
Mhm.
and there's like a sketch of a person they're drawing. And you can see that their art level is very low from the, line work thing that they probably drew over the picture to pretend. This whole website, this whole course just focuses on how many followers she
Yeah.
has. And yeah, it's fake. It's fake as hell. This person is a scammer. Not even allegedly.
I just went to their website and they have, those photo and the sliding bar, and the photo slides into the drawing, and it's
Yeah.
literally the same thing.
Yes.
Like, why did they even do this? Like, don't you think it's a bit too like obvious that everywhere it's like exactly the same spot where like the lip is like bending, and where I don't know, like you can say, I guess this is ultra realism, right? But this is a bit too obvious.
It's very funny, but that's the thing. People who are a fan of this kind of artwork, they probably think like, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing, There's a YouTuber, if I could shout out, there's Aiden with a double N
We
at
can
the
link it
end.
in the description.
Yeah, she's really funny, and she did a beautiful video about this scam artist with like videos and examples. So basically you can look at it with the video examples of what I'm talking about, of how they're scamming. Scammers are terrible people, of course, but like the way this whole thing is presented as being super professional is so clever.
Yeah.
It's so clever.
When I was looking at Sekenada, I feel like they're also a scammer, right? Because they're tricking people into thinking that they're actually drawing it while they're just
Yeah.
redrawing what they had generated with the AI. And I think it's also like a clever way to do it. Like it got me definitely as well. I don't consider myself a beginner, so I was surprised that like at first I was like, oh wow, like such beautiful art. How is this even cool like that? How is this possible? How do you draw like that? And then I like looked at the older stuff. Well, older as, a month ago. I'm not talking about years ago. But then I like noticed that wait, something's not adding up, because like the quality is dropping significantly from the recent posts to this. And sure, maybe like you can do that crazy learning arc, but not when the drawings look AI generated. So they are definitely clever in the way they do it. I don't think people who probably don't understand how things are made, if they have never made like an IG reel or something like that, they probably don't really understand. It's hard for them to even notice that this is not how the process works. You look at the video, you're like, oh wow, like they create this so nicely and so smoothly, but then if you don't have the skills to actually do that, you might not be able to identify this as a scam at all. And I guess
Yeah.
that's what those 600,000 followers are doing. But at the end of the day, I don't think that these people have a long span of their careers. Now you're shouting out that video of a YouTuber talking about it. We're talking about this. People are kind of getting, are understanding that they're being scammed. And when a person understands that they're being tricked, it makes them really mad. And they're probably not going to engage with any of their content, that creators' content in the future, if they understand that they're being tricked. So I feel like it might be like a short, well, maybe it's me thinking, optimistic and hopeful type of thinking, but I don't think this is like an actual career steps that would get you like, your whole life's worth of money. It's gonna be momentarily, probably with like 600,000 followers, you're gonna earn a lot. But after this, if they find out, that's it, your career's kind of over. You're gonna go, do something else in the future somewhere else.
We can make someday a separate episode about art scammers, because what I've learned from my experience and of actually working with an art scammer on an
Oh
art
no.
book is that these people are chameleons. So they might shut down this website, but they tend to sort of like, not chameleon, they're like, what's that Firebird? phoenix, yeah, then suddenly they rise from the ashes under a different name.
I guess if it's under a different name, yeah. Sometimes like you see those YouTubers who like scam their audiences, like with Jake Paul, Logan Paul. They're still at it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
exactly.
I just in art, I feel like reputation, because it's a smaller community, reputation really matters, and I don't think a person like her could get any serious work for the industry. So all she can do, I don't know if it's a she, but all they can do is just, keep on doing these scammy things. And I don't know how good your morals would be, like how well she sleeps at night. But
there are no morals. That's the thing. These people are usually either narcissists or they don't care. Like again,
Mm.
interesting topic to talk about scammers and how they think. Like I have a lot of input nowadays because of my experiences with these people. But when you
Mhm.
say about industry, like the art industry is very vast. So the person I know, they were scamming people through the internet, through commissions and art book projects and stuff, but they're also a tattoo
Mm.
artist. And outside the internet space, they're doing pretty
Mm.
well. Unless these people, I think, are criminally convicted, I don't think cancellation is
Mm.
gonna work. Because, in our internet age, yeah, some of us are gonna be informed, but people go from topic to topic very quickly. There's always a new villain, basically, of the day that people want to talk about. So I think these kind of people understand that, and these scammers sort of learn how to reemerge under different names, under different
But the thing
aliases.
is, this person who we're talking about, the Instagram account, they're not doing anything to be, like you said, criminally judged, because they're offering a service. So unless they're not actually doing tutorials, once the person buys the tutorial class, they're just tricking them on how much skill they have, and they're still like providing the service. So it's not like there's actually like some,
The result is
yeah,
wrong.
that's the thing. What I'm talking about is, maybe in America you could say like, oh, they tricked me in saying that the service was a higher quality than it was, but it's not like they're actually, how do I say this, the criminally convicted type of route. I don't think it's very plausible with this. I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
anyone would actually sue the person.
No, I don't think they will. What I'm saying is that what they do is basically it's fraud.
It is fraud, yeah.
For example, those teas that make you slimmer or whatever, which is basically just teas with
Oh wait,
laxatives.
they promote that?
No, but I'm saying no, not them.
Oh,
But I'm
okay,
just
sorry.
saying in general. These fitness YouTubers
Yeah. I
who
mean,
are
the
like,
Kardashians are like always
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that this artist had a sponsor of that. I
No,
thought
no,
like,
no, no,
ain't no
no.
way artists are getting those slimming teas detox.
But basically, they're like, the promotion is like, hey, if you drink this tea or if you join my fitness program, you're gonna look like me.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the scam. Because you won't look like them, because there's so many things that, first of all, they cannot draw like they think they're drawing, because they're not drawing. They're just erasing off stuff, that's like a whole different level. At least these athletes are training, and, they have the genetics and stuff. But just as an example of why it's a fraud, you will never draw like them using their brushes, basically. You cannot achieve, you can go through all their courses and stuff, unless the course is about cheating and fraud. You will not achieve basically the levels, never achieve the levels they're advertising, because they're advertising a lie. It's like, here's my brush pack. With this brush pack, with these skills, you will draw like I do. But you don't do that. You use an eraser. You don't use these brushes yourself as advertised, basically. So that's why. So October is coming, and I'm getting ready for all the conventions, and I was like, maybe I should draw a small horror comic.
I'm excited if you do that. I'm excited to see. I feel like your style is very like monster oriented. That would be fun.
Yeah, a short little comic. So I was like, let's see for inspiration, other horror manga, for example. And I watched this YouTube horror manga Iceberg. So, do you know these iceberg videos on
Yeah, of
YouTube?
course.
It's very interesting. They go over like 100 of these mangas, and one of them in particular really caught my eye. It's called Bibliomania, and it is by a writer called Obaru and an artist called Macchiro. Have you heard these
No.
names? That's the interesting thing. So, why I want to talk about this manga is because it is absolutely amazing when it comes to artwork. Like, the story is interesting too, don't get me wrong. The story is great, but the artwork, like, it's been a while since I've seen something so beautifully made. There's a little movie sort of trailer of this project on YouTube, Trips on Bibliomania, and yeah, the interesting thing about the artist of this manga, Mochiro, is that it's their first published manga project. And before that, they became known for their web manga. He had one that used to be called Subuan Man.
So it was comedy genre?
I think so. I can't read Japanese. It was drawn, I think, 6 years prior to Bibliomania. And just the contrast of art. So obviously, Subuan Man is not as well drawn, but you see how Machiro is using very interesting angles and camera shots. Like, even though, you know, the anatomy is not there yet, the details are not there yet, but he's not afraid to try out these interesting ways of showing things that are happening in the manga, basically. It's very brave in the way that these mangakas show the stories, because we sometimes are so busy, like, oh, I don't know how to draw X and Y, so I will not, or I don't know how to draw this difficult angle, so I won't draw it. But they just draw it. You know, the anatomy won't be perfect, but they just draw it anyways, because this is the angle.
It becomes really expressive, right?
Yeah. And that's why I talk about this earlier project, because I love looking at earlier projects of these super massively, amazingly talented people, because you see where they start from. And where they start from is just drawing. I really, really recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I am not very keen on horror.
But it's not just horror, it's like a dark sci-fi, I would call it. So yeah.
Thank you for the recommendation. I'll definitely check him out. And obviously the links are going to be in the description. That wraps up our episode for this week. And guys, if you have any topic suggestions or ideas, please share in the comments below. Drop a like on the video since it helps us reach more listeners. Thank you for sticking out until the end, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.